Okay, so today I wanted to speak about etymology and magic. I have been listening to a lady called Lavette on YouTube, and in combination with all the stuff I've listened to the past few years, including these things of Jordan Maxwell and stuff like that, where you look at the words and what the words do, and also the aspect of magic in this world. This world is ruled by largely right now black magic, but forms of magic. And basically, words are magic. It comes from spelling. And so I took a few notes on these things, and I jot a few of these names down, these words down, to go through it. But the main thing about etymology and understanding words and what this magic is really about is to understand the aspect of spelling. Spelling is casting a spell. So when you're spelling or using words, we cast spells. In my opinion, it's like the stick, all right? The stick that Harry Potter has, the Hollywood, the little stick of wood, the Hollywood, is the spell. But in my opinion, I think the tongue is actually the spell, because the tongue comes from language. Language is the word lingua, the tongue. The Latin word for tongue is lingua, right? So in my opinion, the stick or the casting of spells is done with the tongue that's moving around in the mouth all the time, making sounds. And again, you'll see that sound is vibration, and the universe is basically made of vibration. So we are casting vibrational spells, right? Basically, sound casts spells, whether it's music or whether it's just language, right? So the language comes from the lingua. The language is the tongue, right? The tongue you speak. And of course, then you cause spelling, and by spelling you structure words in such a way that you cast an idea into the mind. This is what spelling really does, right? So I saw this other word, which is influenza, came across that one, and influence, to influence people. And to influence people is like influenza. It's like a virus that's put inside something. So when you're infected, right, with a virus, it's because you're influenced by something that the spell has penetrated the system. You're now possessed, or if the virus has taken hold of the system, has penetrated. And the same thing is for example, advertisement, another word that Lavette was speaking about. Advertisement is, basically to add a verse to entice the mind. To add a verse to entice the mind. By adding a verse, you add a section of words that entices the mind. It's basically, again, infecting the mind with an idea. And obviously, one of the really good ones I came across was propaganda. The propaganda is the prop agenda, right? Prop is always a stand-in, a fake, right? A prop is a fake, right? A stand-in, something that's propping, a prop that holds something up. It's something as well that holds something up, that supports something, right? Supports an agenda. It props up an agenda. So that's, again, propaganda, right? So these are kind of things that depict the magic, because what this Lavette lady speaks about, which is very interesting, is the part of magic. And everywhere in this world where we use magic, the word W stands for magic. So I came across yesterday, while pondering some of this work, I immediately realized that it seems to me that WWW stands for magic. So each W stands for magic. You can inverse as well. It's the double U, right? The W is the other U, the fake U. Again, a prop. So one U is the I, the intelligence, and the other fake U is the double U, the other U, right? Let me just turn this down. No, it's not here. The double U is the fake U. So the W is magic. It always stands for magic. But when you've got www dot, the World Wide Web, they say it's for World Wide Web, which is www. Then to me, it's very clear that it stands for 3 forms of magic. And in a way, you could say, like what Lavette said about the church, government, and media. This is like the fake propaganda, fake pillars, the fake world, the world that keeps people trapped, right? So the magic, it's a black magic spell, and you cast a spell by saying www dot, which means magic, 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 period. Period. That's it. And then whatever your name you have after that, whether it's youtube.com or whether it's google.com or whether it's your own website.com, it's all in the realm of the dark black magic, the magic world. And then this whole issue comes to light where people were saying, well, why did they even allow the internet? You know, why would they allow the internet? Because we're waking up, because we're meeting each other and people can post videos. Well, it's very obvious that the larger part of the web is all stuff that keeps you lost. And that's why it's called a web, and it's a worldwide web. A web is a trap, it's a net. It's something that keeps people in control. It's a control grid, a web, you know? So first of all, it's magic, www, 3 times of magic, and most of the web is lost. I mean, they say even most of the web came out of pornography. I think that at some point half of the web was pornography in the beginning. You know, these lost behavioral aspects of humanity that are being taken control of. I'm just gonna grab this air conditioning. It's a little bit cold. I'm just gonna so the web is lost, right? The web is magic, and the web is something that's keeping people trapped. So Levet speaks about the alchemical astrology aspects of our life, which is a very interesting thing to look at. If you haven't, look her up on YouTube. And she speaks of the different ages. So as the astrological age of Pisces is coming to an end, Pisces is emotion. Pisces is a form of forgiveness or mercy. So you get away with a lot of wrong things that you might do, the ignorance and the selfishness. But we're going into the age of Aquarius, and the age of Aquarius is the age of air and not of water. So we're going into air, and air, of course, is a much higher realm, and it's the age of truth. So it's the water bearer that bears truth upon, it shines the light, you know. It pours the water out and is remained, and all that's left is the air, which is pristine and clear, and is the purer form, right? The noble version, the higher level of these elements. So this element is, the air element, shines light on the untruth. It's a time of revelation, a time of revealing the falsehoods that have been perpetrated upon us. And a web would keep the fish from leaving the ocean and jumping up too high like a dolphin into the air. So the www, the 3 forms of magic, could be considered, let's say, you know, the religion, and I think science is the biggest religion. And then you have government, and then you could say the media, right? These are all like one thing, right? You could say, but those are the 3 false magic pillars on which it's founded. And at the same time, this web is keeping people in. So these words, to come back to some of the words here that we're looking at, is, I have a few more, and one of them is intelligent, because a lot of people think that, you know, smart people are intelligent, but they're not. Smart people is something all different. I don't even know what the word stands for, I haven't looked it up yet, but smart is a low-level intelligence. It's like the IQ test, you know, the IQ test is wrong. It's not an intelligence test at all. Intelligent comes from 2 words, the intel and the legend. So the legend stands for ligament or connection, and intel obviously is information or knowledge. So when somebody's intelligent, they have information and they can link it. They can make the connections between the different forms of information and knowledge. So somebody who's intelligent is someone who's capable of connecting the information, connecting the dots, putting all the bits and pieces together. It's like a master puzzle man who figures the puzzle out. We've seen a lot of movies that are into like Indiana Jones to try to find magical things in physicality, like diamonds or whatever, or big stuff from the lost civilizations, which is cool enough. Yeah, it's a way of depicting the same thing. But obviously real intelligence doesn't look for golden tombstones or something like that, you know. It looks for the golden knowledge, the self-knowledge, the third eye, the enlightenment, the freedom, the aspect of liberation from this system and realizing your true nature, or returning back home to the higher realms, right? Not diamonds and tombstones. So one of the bigger ones, which is blatantly in your face, is government. If you look at etymology and you look at the word government, you'll find that government comes from 2 words, the Latin words governar, to govern, and mente, mind. And mind will come back in a lot of things. I'll show you later how mind comes back. Mente, the word mind or mente, right? Government therefore means to control, which is to govern, and mind, to govern your mind. Government is there to govern your mind. So we're talking literally about what they're saying they are for. Government literally admits, or the word is used in your face, so you know that you have a government which is there to govern your mind or to control your mind, right? So that's a good one, very in your face. Also, a lot of people speak about the church, or the original one was the temple. A church, I haven't looked into the word church, but the original word was a temple. But a temple is still from the word temporal, time. And time is an illusion. So a trap, if you're stuck in the temple, if you go to the temple, being in the temple, you're in time or of time. And so some people say, well, the highest realm of temple was really not a physical place like a church, like a building, but it's referring to the temple, which is the body. But the body is of time. So again, a temple or a body is still not true. It's still in the realm of time, and time is an illusion that's cast upon us as a spell. Then we have here of understanding. You know, they have a lot of ways of saying to understand means that you stand under. That's not a good thing, obviously. If you stand under, that means something is above you, right? So to understand something, and every time you use the word to say, do you understand, or I understand, or we need to understand. Well, we don't. That's casting a spell upon yourself. It's a self-spelling. If you say, I need to understand, or I want to understand, or people need to understand, or they have to understand, and if we only could understand, then no, we should overstand, or stand above, or stand with, unify. That would be more like yoga or union. Unistand, you know, would be a new word. We have to unistand with the truth, not understand. You don't have to understand truth. You have to unistand truth, stand with truth, you know. So, and then there's a few things which are tricky, are very important to see, and I put them down here as well, which is to say that an individual, you're an individual, I'm an individual. Individual comes from undividable. And undividable means that you are, again, unified. We're not dividable. An individual, is undividable, right? And then you have the person, which is a very good one. I've spoken about it before. Person comes from persona. And persona stands for the mask you wear. So in old days, or even now, when somebody's having a play, you would act a role, and the role that you act, or the mask that you wear, or the character that you take upon, that you identify with or play, is the mask that you wear, is the persona. The persona is a fake identity that you take on. And then, a very important one that comes back in a lot of things is the word con, C-O-N. And C-O-N comes from a con, which is an instance of deceiving or tricking someone. To persuade someone to do or to believe something, typically by use of deception or to trick, right? So a con is literally a trick, right? A con artist, you know, a con, a fake, a heist, a lie, a theft, you know? It's to fool people. So let's look, for example, at contract. A contract is the documents that we have and we sign with the government and these kinds of things, and between people, and when you build a house or when you open a bank account, it's all have to do with contracts, right? And a tract stands for a segment of, it's a track. It's a long track, like a hiking track or a race track. It's a track, and a track is a long segment of something that continues in a certain direction. It leads you to a certain place, a track. Whether it's a hiking track in the forest or a racetrack, it all leads somewhere, even though a racetrack is racing in circles and never coming and to any point except over and over the same thing. That's where most of humanity is, in a racetrack, right? An endless looping track of stupidity. But a contract stands there for a fake tract, and mostly it refers to a track of language. So again, spelling, language, words. When you use a contract, it's a long segment like this kind of text stuff. It's a big long segment of text that leads you somewhere, and the contract leads you into what you would call, you know, a fake track, or a fake spelling, or a fake belief system. A con, you know, it's fooling you. Like a concept is, again, a fake inception. Cept from inception, which is to grasp. So a concept is a fake idea, to grasp a fake idea. A construct, like we talk about construction, even in building, or a fake mind construct, a social construct, a religious construct. These are all constructs, right? And a struct is from structure. So again, a construct stands for a fake construction, a fake structure, right? Again, a contract is a fake structure of words, a word spelling, right? And then you have things like a converse, right? To converse with somebody or to convert, you have that 12. To vert is direction, right? To vert something in a certain direction is to convert, right? So when somebody's converted into a religious doctrine, that's a conversion, right? Little flies here. To converse is again words. So to have a fake verse. A verse is a segment of usually a rhythmic language. A verse, it's almost like a rhyme or something, a verse. So converse, to converse with somebody, is to have a fake rhythmic dance of language. Again, spelling, again, tricking you and putting spells upon ourselves with language that's been given to us by these whatever you want to call them, elite, right? Which the elite come from the el-eat, right? The L is the gods, right? An L stands for God, but the elite are fake gods, Confidence, again, the same thing, right? Trust. Fidence comes from trust. To confide in somebody is to have fake trust in somebody. And at this moment, people have confidence in so many things. They have confidence in their government. I mean, they're losing confidence in their government, but they have confidence in their government. It's ridiculous just to have these ideas. If you see the words, you're confident in your doctor, you confide in your doctor, your medical priest who doesn't know about real medicine at all. Confusion. Well, fusion obviously is bonding, union, right? Confusion, right? So I wrote all these things down so you can see how many cons have been pulled on us, To confuse means literally to have a fusion with something that's a fake fusion, A fake bonding, a fake combination, a fake blend, a fake unification, a fake marriage, That's confused, when you're confused. And the whole world now, 99% of the world is confused. And then another one which really interesting is to have the word co, C-O. C-O, co, is to have, it's like a cooperation, is to unify with something together with. Co stands for co, or stands for together, or with, right? So let's take, for example, the word corrupt, right? Co is, of course, then again, together with. And rupt stands for rupture. So a rupture is a tear, a fissure, a split. If there's an earthquake and there's a rupture in the earth, you have a chasm in between. There's a gap. It's rupted from. It's separated from. Right? So it's a tear, a rupture. Well, obviously the only thing that you can be ruptured from is your true source. To be ruptured, to be also ruptured, which means to be co-rupt, which means to be together with that which is torn from the source, from God, from whatever, the universe, from the truth, right? Not to mistake God for some man with a beard, obviously. I'm using the word God in a higher sense here, not in the superficial religious sense or something like that. So to be corrupt individuals, corrupt government agencies, corrupt FBI agents, corrupt CIA agents, corrupt whatever, right? All these things are corrupt. All these things have corrupted. Why? Because they're also ruptured. They are ruptured along with. They're along with those who have ruptured. They're the separated ones. The ones who have split off from the source. The ones who have their own agenda, right? Their own agenda, because they no longer live the agenda of God or the eternal one or the truth, right? God is a shitty word anyway. Shouldn't be using it. So then you have things like, I ran into a few more, like fasting, which is to speed up, right? So by throwing off your water or your food, you are speeding up your spirit. And then were a few more like disease, obviously, from the word dis-ease, which is what most people are at, who have diseases, and the doctors don't know what to do about it because they don't know how to get rid of that. Then I got the lodge. And how a lot of these things like the Freemasons and stuff have lodges, and those are coming from the word lodge. And to me, lodge means to have something lodged somewhere. It's stuck. It's a stuck place. It's a place that's stuck on a certain idea, a certain concept, a certain belief system. So when you're lodged somewhere, or when something is lodged between something else, it's stuck in between, right? And then distracted, which is again from the word tract. When we were looking at a contract, it's a fake track, right? So a contract is a fake track, which is a track, And a distracted means that you're off track. You're distracted. You don't have traction. The wheels, if you lift the wheel off, it no longer has traction. Or you're off the road, off the path, off your journey, right? Your knee, your God, right? The word journey apparently comes from your knee, which means your God. Your journey is the journey back to truth, back into the realm of understanding or understanding or unistanding with the truth, with your true God, not the fake gods of media and this world and all the stupid shit that you see on YouTube and the internet, right? Because the internet is, of course, like I said before, the worldwide magic net, right? The world wide web, the net that is cast upon all the people so they can't ascend into the realm of air, into Aquarius, into the waking up stage, into truth, the real apocalypse. The real 2012 story was not about an end of a world, or it was, but world means age. So the end of an age, and the age of Pisces is finishing. And we're going into the world of Aquarius, the air age, right? The age of truth, we're ascending. And to stop ascension, well, they released the World Wide Web. You know, a lot of people said, like I said, why did they do that? Well, they did it because they could use it way more to weigh people down. The World Wide Web, the three magic dot, period. They were going to stop it right there in those three forms of magic, which is, let's say for a moment, you know, science, and let's say government, and just to give the other one, the media, right? So the three forms of magic, period. And that's where people are going to end. And that was the web they threw over the people from stopping them from ascending. The web is not used mainly to people to wake up. That's just the minute part that are using it in that way. The majority are using it for dumb shit. Dumb, stupid, superficial shit that is weighing the people down. So now they're so entertained. People are so incredibly entertained by rubbish, just stupid nonsense, that every night before they go to bed, I know people that, I heard of people, at least I don't know maybe personally, but I heard of people that sleep with their TV on. Imagine everything going down into the subconscious when you're having these TV shows and stuff just running on even while they're sleeping. They can't sleep without leaving the TV on. It's too silent, right? And to talk about silence is, again, the word stillness, or, well, I have the one here, I think I have it here. It's interest. To be interested in something. If you're really interested in the truth, that means you are interested. You know, in the one of the, I think it's the southern accent of the United States, I think they're using, you know, interested. Hey, are you interested or something, right? They basically, I might be doing that bad, but interested, you know. We say interested, but it means inner rested. You have to have inner rest. If you don't have inner rest, no quantum resting, no capacity to sink down into the deep realms of meditation, which is the silent space of nothingness, then you're not interested. And in the southern accent, they actually say it, interested. He's not interested in anything, you know. He's not interested. You're not interested enough. For most people that we try to wake up, you know, that people like us try to speak to, and which is not our duty. We shouldn't be waking people up that are not ready because they're not there. And most of them are not even probably real players anyway. They're just drones. So they're not interested. They're not inner rested. They don't have inner rest enough to make space, to make place, to make space for something new to come in. They're not intelligent. They don't have the capacity to connect, to ligament, to connect the different forms of intel, the knowledge and the information. They don't have that knowledge, the capacity. Why? Because they're not inner rested. So we need to be able to go into meditation and rest in the quantum field. And I have other videos about that. Look up quantum resting and things like that, right? I've made several videos about that. It's all about the non-dual and the true meaning of resting or stillness, silence, or real meditation, right? Quantum resting. So most people in this world are not inner rested enough. And I must say, add to this, that I've noticed that a lot of people that I once thought were waking up and that were capable of grasping these things, I've noticed that over the years, many of them stopped growing. Many of them stopped learning new things because they were not inner rested enough. They didn't have interest enough, no rest to be intelligent, to have intel and to connect that intel and connect the dots. And so there's almost like fuses that burn out. seems like people have certain fuses that just burn out after a few years. They've done all they can, and the world has assaulted them with the need for making money and all the things they need to do on a daily basis, and all the confrontation, all the emotional turmoil, and all the chaos, that they just say, okay, I choose to live my life out by going holidays and traveling and whatever, right? I have a friend like that that does that, you know, just gave up several years ago after some 2012 stuff. And same for my brother, you know, stopped growing because, you know, it was too much. They had a burnout, and the burnout basically burned the fuses, and the fuses were not replaced because you need inner rest to replace those fuses, you know. So the journey, the costumes, you know, that's another thing, you know, why they put costumes on everybody, all these Illuminatis and all these priests and all these people, even the police and the judges and all that, because a costume stands for a masquerade, right? Again, it's a fake robe, basically, right? It's a masquerade. That's what people do in a carnival. They dress themselves up as something else because we're living in a fake world, right? We're living in a fake age. We are in this advertised con, right? This basically to persuade someone to believe something, usually a lie, the magic realm, the realm of the WWW. So what else do I have here? That's it, I think. Basically, we live in a world of magic. Magic is mainly done by language, by the tongue, by the moving of the tongue, right? The tongue moves around and casts spells like the Mickey Mouse, like Harry Potter with his tongue. And they say abracadabra, right? Which also comes from something, I remember hearing that, I think in one of Levet's movies, abracadabra actually comes from that, right? Something like that, like a magic spell, right? And you say abracadabra, by the words that I use, by the spelling which I cast upon you through the vibrational sounds of words and voice, I make you believe in ideas, such as, well, let me do you another one, the document. A document comes from, again, a docum is like doctor, is from a doctrine. So the doctor is indoctrinated, a doc, right? Like the doc is the indoctrinated person who believes in the current medical heist, right? The current medical religion. And a document is an indoctrination into the mind. So again, the mente, like government, to govern, to control mind, mind control, government. And then you have a document, right? A contract is a fake tract, and a document, we use the two words. When people sign a document, they either sign a document or they sign a contract. So you either sign a fake tract, a fake passage of words, again, spelling, that indoctrinates, which is a document, is now the doctrine, the fake idea, the fake con, the fake spell, the fake magic is introduced into the mind. Documente. The doctrine, the fakeness, the idea, the belief system, the structure that they want the magicians want you to believe in, is inserted into the mente. Documente. Document. So now it's in your mind, mente. So the fake structure is introduced into your mind. So all documents and all forms of magic are spelling, whether it's a birth certificate or whether it's a contract that you sign with any company or anything. You're signing these documents because you're signing to believe in the structure that it is. And that's what we're made of. Our whole world is magic, made out of magic, hidden in plain sight. That what we're using is language. I use it right now. The only difference is that I'm trying to use language in a way where I am unspelling, where I am depicting, where I'm undoing the false structures. So people who speak, let's say, of these kinds of subjects, and like I'm doing in this video, I'm actually trying to undo many of the spells that are being cast upon us, so that we can see what's going on, whether it's Jordan Maxwell or Levet on our things. Many people that speak of these kinds of subjects are doing exactly the opposite. We're using white magic, trying to use language in a way that is used as the magic as well, because I'm still using sound and vibration that is conversing, right? And it's still a form of conversing. The hope is that I'm versing and not conversing. I'm in a verse, hopefully, in a rhythmic flow of words that undo the black magic spells that have been cast upon us. So it's an undoing of the falsehoods, right? An undoing of all that is false. And in that way it's also magic, but intended to be white magic. But the more we wake up and the more we realize, we'll find that we still use wrong words. For example, a lot of times you say you need to understand this, like I said before in the video. It's actually a recasting of a spell, black magic, because we shouldn't use the word understanding. We should use understanding, or we should use unistanding, something like that. Because the moment you use understanding, it's an automatic black spell. It puts you again under, you stand under that which is the reality, the truth, the absolute, the source, the original, the peaceful, the joyous, the good, the right, the true. So be very careful with words. We've been tricked by the black magicians of the world into believing into cons and all these fake tracts and these doctrines that have been put into our mente and our minds. And it's all magic, www. They're trying to trap us in the world wide web of lies. Black magic web, like a big net they threw over the planet to keep us from going out. That you see the planet with the grid around it. I think it's even the UN or something has that logo. It's the planet with a grid around it. It's the worldwide net. The United Nations is trapping the nations, trapping the people in the worldwide web of lies, of black magic. Magic, 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 period.